Welcome to voter registration. This presentation will assist you in completing your voter registration form. If at any point during the presentation you would like to do so, please pause the presentation to allow students to fill in the form as we go. Before you begin completing your form, there's a few things you should know. Registering to vote in North Carolina is open to anyone who is 16 years of age or older. You can pre-register to vote, however, you are not legally allowed to vote until you are 18 years old. Forms should be completed in blue or black ink only. If a form is processed in pencil or is illegible in any way, it will not be processed by the Board of Elections. Registering to vote is optional. You can choose not to register. Only the person registering to vote should fill in the form. Please do not mark on anyone else's form. Teachers should not make corrections to forms for students. If a mistake is made, please give the student another form and destroy and discard the form with the mistake. In Section 1, you should put a check mark in the box marked yes to indicate that you are an American citizen. If you are not an American citizen, you should not complete this form. Even if you are a legal resident of the United States, you cannot vote unless you are a citizen. If you were 16 or older in North Carolina, you can pre-register to vote. If you will be 18 by November 8th of this year, check yes in the box on the form. If you are 16 years old or older but will not be 18 by November 8th of this year, leave this section blank. If you are not 16 or older, you should not complete this form. In Section 2, please print your last name, first name, and middle name. Each of these is required for the form to be processed. You should only mark one letter or number per box. You should only mark in the box with the junior, senior, second, third, fourth, and fifth options if you are a male who has the same name as your father, as in John Smith III. This is not an indication of your grade level. Please record the date of your birth. This is required to register to vote. You can fill in the country of birth or state if you choose, but this information is not required. You would only fill in the North Carolina voter registration number if you are already a registered voter and are completing this form for the purposes of altering your registration, to change your address or party affiliation, for example. Please record your North Carolina driver's license or ID number if you know it. If you do not, that's okay. If you know your social security number, please record the last 4 digits. If you do not know either of these last pieces of information, it is okay to leave them blank. However, you may be contacted by the Board of Elections or asked to show an ID the first time you vote. Please enter the street address of your home, including the city, in Section 4. This information is required. If you know the rest of the information asked on the form, please fill it in also. It is a good idea to give a working phone number at which you can be reached easily in case the Board of Elections has a question about your voter registration form. If you do not give a working phone number and they cannot contact you, the form may not be processed. For most people, Section 5 of the form will be left blank. Only fill in Section 5 if your mailing address is different from your physical address. Only draw a map or diagram in the box if you do not have an address. Again, most people will leave this section blank. Box 6 is used for data collection purposes by the State Board of Elections and party affiliation. Therefore, it is not required that you fill in this information. If you choose to do so, please fill in your gender, your race, ethnicity, and political party affiliation. Please note, North Carolina has semi-closed primary elections. This means that if you choose to register as a member of a specific political party, you can only vote for members of that individual party during the primary elections. If you register as unaffiliated, you may choose one party to vote for during the primary elections. During the general election in November, you may vote for any party regardless of your affiliation. Party affiliation is a member of public record, so anyone will be able to look up how you register. We'd just like to make sure that you're aware of that. Also, no school employee should influence the way that students register as far as their political party affiliation. You can advise your students on the legality and what it means to register for one party versus registering as unaffiliated, but as far as advising them to sign up for one party or another, you should not do that. In Section 7, you would use this form if you want to change your voter registration. So you would only fill out box 7 if you're using the form to change your voter registration. If you are registering for the first time or do not need to change your registration address, do not fill out Section 7. Finally, please read each of the statements at the bottom of the form. If each statement is true, sign the form using your legal signature, which is your full name, and date with today's date. If you sign the form and know information on it to be false, you can be convicted of a Class I felony. If you choose to do so, remove the film covering the seal and fold the form in half to seal it. Instructions for staff. If a student wishes to take the form home to finish filling it in, they should be allowed to do so. They can mail it in themselves or they can return it to the school's voter registration coordinator. Once all forms are completed, please collect them from students. No student should have access to the forms of other students, and forms should be kept in a secure location until they are collected by the voter registration coordinator. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact your school's voter registration coordinator, and thank you for your cooperation.